Okay, so we're live. I apologize for the mess. I've got a poll on plate there, but something just kind of popped up on my news feed, and I thought I'd live stream while talking about it because this is weird and something that I want to see if I can find out more stuff about. So I'm apparently part of a Facebook group called British Politics. I must have joined it a short while ago and not bothered doing anything with it. One of the posts recently came across my newsfeed, and it was if you could save a dog or a Muslim, which would you save? It didn't go into detail of what the problem was, but that's not really a major factor. The question to me is, well, how how do you know that it's a Muslim or a Muslim as they wrote it? How do you know? And let's say you do, you intimately know these people. Why is there a choice? And if it comes down to it, well, it depends entirely on the situation. But the human generally takes precedent. People save their own species when they can. The only time that I could think where the choice of saving the dog or the Muslim, where it would lean towards the dog, is if the Muslim is too far away for me to get to, and the dog I can get to, in which case I shall make efforts to save the dog and make my apologies to the other person. But if it seems 50-50, or if there seems to be some chance that I could save the person, then yeah, I'll go and try and save the person. Another human being, another human life. So that got me thinking that maybe I've misunderstood Britain, or at least the Facebook crowd of British people, the British people that use Facebook, which is a large proportion of them. I've assumed that the racism was hyperbole, that the stories of it happening were happening, but they were so outlandish and strange and alien because they were the oddity. They were the odd one out. But you look on here and it would go some way to convince you otherwise. This is by no means indicative of the general UK population. You go outside and you see the general UK population. Online, you never see how people are really behaving and acting. You see a hyper reality of them. So this is people venting, just venting, really. I was going to say venting frustrations, but they don't really have a legitimate thing to vent about. Or if they do, they're not venting at the thing legitimately. Anyway. Someone saying half of the press corps is not supporting any Brexit votes and wants to stay in the EU. Okay. Someone's just replied to a comment of mine. There was a picture there that I got very angry and reacted very quickly to a lot of these things, and I realized that was a mistake because I basically waded into a pool that I've never been in before and just started throwing my weight around, which was a mistake. I really should not have done that. However, someone posted a picture saying, "Nature is humanity's litmus test. In the main, it shows us multiculturalism does not work." And it's got a picture of one type of ant killing another type of ant, one sort of reddish black ant fighting some sort of honey colored ant. The ant looks like it's made of honey. It's semi-translucent. That's not multiculturalism. That's two different species fighting. That's you get people of the same species fighting. Multiculturalism works because we're not all dead. Monoculturalism also works, but also it doesn't remain that way. Like people grow and change and move about. But anyway, I commented spelling replacement because it puts humanities as in the humanities, like geography, history, whereas it should be, if I'm thinking correctly, and if my memory serves me, it should be humanity apostrophe s. Nature is humanities litmus test, as in a litmus test that belongs to humanity, rather than a litmus test of the humanities. So I put an asterisk humanities for the correct thing, and said my litmus test for is how much the author cares about the work and whether they care enough to do spelling and grammar and stuff correctly. But I've said, however, this is demonstrably false. There are multicultural societies. And someone says, research more, dear boy, before playing the syntax police, with a winky smiley face. I think he thinks that that's spelled correctly. In fact, yes, that's the... okay. Do you think this is spelled correctly? Anyway, a lot of people were bashing Muslims in the post about Dog Muslim. Muslim is what they wrote. I keep trying to say Muslim, but it keeps going out with what they've actually written because I've got it in my head now. Farage in there. But the pinned post. Welcome to British politics. Our group was created to provide a civil debating platform to people of all views. In order to keep this group enjoyable and create a common ground for all members, please take a few minutes of your time to read the group rules. Well, let's have a quick dive into that. How many pages is it? 4 pages. Welcome, civil things, 6 red lines, debate, and then it's got each of the letters in a sort of acrostic thing. So the D in debate is deleting a created thread without consulting an admin is not allowed. E is for ensure that personal information of other group members is not used in your posts. So these 6 red lines are things that will get you instantly banned. Blocking an admin, add a comment or question when posting a meme. I think it's suggesting that you should add a comment or a question when posting a meme. Treat other members with respect. Everyone is entitled to their own view, even if you disagree with their choice of political party or ideology. By coming into this group, you accept that it will include people of all views. Constructive debate between individuals and lighthearted banter is allowed within the thread, but targeting an individual in a post, making them the object of debate, will be considered bullying or harassment, will be treated accordingly. Hate speech. Regardless of red lines T and E, any political idea or religion can be criticized and debated, and free speech is encouraged. We allow people of all political persuasions to enter the group and debate as long as they do so respectfully and without recourse to personal abuse, hate speech, bullying, or intimidation. Hate speech is broad, insulting generalizations about whole groups of people, such as races, sexes, sexualities, or followers of a particular religion are not allowed. For example, you may criticize Islam as a religion, but it's not acceptable to condemn all Muslims as terrorists or suggest all Catholics are pedophiles, etc. So already, first page, we've already established that the behavior that I'm witnessing is not right. But let's test that, because I don't want to just be convincing myself of this. But the main reason why I started this live stream in the first place was I had a look to see so yes, this is guy thinks that the meme was spelled correctly. But anyway, I went to the admins section of the members part to see what was there. And I see that the admins, we've got 3 admins. The group was created in May 2015, according to this, which is fairly young for a page like this. It's fairly popular now. It's got 88,000 people, more than that. However, I wish on the live stream I could share my. I think I can share my screen with you, can't I? Can I share my screen? Never done it before. Cameraman. It's downloading an app. Cameraman. Yeah. Okay. Let's guess try. Hide the thing. Let's guess. Okay. Broadcast a large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. No, that just. Okay, so cameraman is not the thing that I'm after. Screen share. There we go. My entire screen. Just share that. Okay. So now, it's not sharing my screen. So this is what I can see. We have Kate Kitchingman. Kate Kitchingman as a moderator. To Kate Kitchingman as another moderator with the same image, joined at different times. Let's check this out. Different cover photos. In a relationship. See, now we're not getting much overlap in photos, but we are getting overlap in interests. See if there's anything in the about. Well, actually, no, this is probably wrong for me to do on the live stream looking into personal people's Facebook things. So I shall stop that. This is all we're going to have a look at, I'm afraid. I'm not too comfortable with everything else. I would want to look at it privately, but yes. But you can see also there's Z Maddox, Madison Monroe, and Z Maddox. Z Maddox and Madison Monroe have the same image, just one of those black and white. And both Z Maddoxes, so presumably these 3 are the same person, Manchester. I find this odd and disturbing that this is going on. Another Kate Kitchenman, which appears to be the same person as well. This is disturbing. So let's go to stop sharing. Where's my, there we go. Right. Yes, it's no longer sharing. Good. So this is weird, right? Like, this is genuinely weird that we have the page British Politics, which seems to be allowing, at least I'm reporting that it's allowing hate speech to just run rampant. When I go to the admin and moderators, it seems to me that there's a particular bent. Kate Kitchingman, who is here 4 times, same person in the pictures, although not the exact same image on all 4. They have a Union flag image on a shield. I don't recognize the symbol. Okay, flag, shield. Let's see if we can find that image somewhere and see if it's representative of something. There's a helmet symbol, which was on one of the things. This is going to be boring, by the way. This is more for my own records, so that it is recorded somewhere. But yeah, I find it very strange that you've got duplicate moderators. Let's have a look at this Madison Monroe. I'm going to have a look at Z Maddox and Madison Monroe now without screen sharing and see what's going on. Okay, so we've got why kill them with kindness when you can use a hammer? Very aggressive tone. Yep. Vile child rapist supporters who cannot even defend their nonce friend in real accounts. I would be right there in my real account standing for or attacking. It shows you do not have the balls to back up what you're saying, nor really are true friends, and dare stand for your nonce with your real name. Report me, I will come back in every time. And the intro is, I am my own demon, and there's lots of aggressive imagery here, which normally I'd be fine with. However, in context, it seems like it's this is targeted. No, targeted is the wrong word. Being weaponized rather than targeted. Yeah. So, this is someone who's angry at a lot of stuff and has multiple accounts, as they reference the fact that people have multiple accounts without decrying it. It seems that in this culture, the kind of people that use this group, it is normal for them to have multiple accounts. That's what I'm getting from this. That is not something I've come across myself. How strange. Okay. So in case they get kicked out, there's multiple accounts if they're being rude or whatever. So this emboldens them and allows them to be rude. Let's not look at any of the others, especially the oldest one. That's likely to bring up actual personal stuff rather than just verifying things. So we've got Kate Kitching Man, Wine, Fabian, Z Manox, Madison Monroe, Neil Mine again, same name, twice. Okay, Alex Lee, again, Mark Hooven, Campbell Buckeridge, Caroline Nicole, Linda Louise James, Lydia Daphne, and Maxim Lowe, who is a local candidate for the UK Independence Party. They're a moderator. Okay, so it's 10 moderators. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 6 accounts that are duplicates of the others. So there are actually just 10 moderators, and that's if we assume that they are just being obvious with the duplicate accounts. It could well be just a couple of people grabbing a whole bunch of random photos and they just use the same ones with the same names on some of the accounts to make it less obvious. So if they get caught out for using a duplicate account, they've got like a scapegoat. They're like, oh yes, well it's obvious which one are my dummy accounts and which ones are other people. Okay. It doesn't seem like they are trying to be fair in the representation here. There's Kev Binning. He's replied as a separate thing. Humanities, if a word ends with a Y in English and you want to make it a plural, you swap the Y for an IE and then add an S. Source, native English. Plural of humanity. Let's have a look. Well, that's correct. If you're using the word humanity as an adjective, then you would use an apostrophe S. Humanity's history. For example, the dog's collar would need an apostrophe. Shows possessives. Add an apostrophe. Let's copy and paste that. It's a possessive, not a plural. Anyway, that's me getting down the rabbit hole there. But someone was saying I'm leaving the group because I'm feeling this is not for me. And he had an Asian name. So I assume it's because of all the anti-Muslim rhetoric. Can't speak tonight. Rhetoric. And that saddens me. That's upsetting. But one lady, one person, why is possessive? Is this really relevant? No, not really, but you were the one getting into the argument about the spelling. I was just pointing out that it was wrong. You want to go and defend it. But, is the argument with you, Kevin Binning, important? No. Is the argument itself important? I'd say so. Clarity, but also shows the importance of this thing for the author. It's obviously not very important. They just bash it together. So that they're likely to be emotionally charged while making this and not thinking clearly, which further suggests that this is a knee-jerk reaction, a knee-jerk response to feeling threatened rather than actually thinking about stuff, which is the general impression I have of this kind of thinking, this kind of person. I do generalize as... hold on. Someone else has responded, yes, it is relevant. It shows you are not really bothered about your own culture, rather that you are bigoted against any other culture you are not used to. I mean, it doesn't have to mean that, but I support the sentiment behind it. Yeah, someone else is sharing an image. Nationalism is true diversity. Is it? Nationalism's a new thing. I doubt these people know that. But nationalism hasn't been around 1 century, 2 centuries? That's about it. So as soon as Germany was made into a thing, the Weimar Republic, around that time, it wasn't because of them, by the way, but yeah, nationalism is a fairly recent thing. So saying that it is true diversity, I would say that the rhetoric of it is the opposite of diversity. It's homogeny, is what nationalism is all about. It's everything's got to be the same, but not just the same, same the way I remember it, the way I think about it. That's the way it needs to be the same. And that's not something I can support. I don't agree with that idea at all. I wish I could find that post. I think it's been taken down, you know. Yeah, this is just really, really weird. This British Politics Facebook page is strange. The fact that the admins and moderators, the fact that the admins aren't getting involved, the fact that the moderators have lots of dummy accounts moderating the same page, the fact that it seems to be supporting one side of things and not the other. Defend Europe against mass immigration. What? I've never understood what it is, as why it is greed to want to keep the money you have earned, but not greed to want to take somebody else's money. Thomas Sowell. Okay. Socialists care to justify this? Right, okay. I'll get into that another time. Come on, where are you? Does Israel deserve to exist? Like, I mean, without establishing like some conversational groundwork, jumping in with that question is a bit nuts, right? Like, does Israel deserve to exist? I don't think that's a question that anyone can answer and be right. Like, Israel's done loads of bad stuff. It shouldn't. In my opinion, historically, the Israeli government should have acceded to United Nations demands. But I'm saying that because I think the United Nations is a good idea and that a group authority is best heeded. I like the fact that we now have the historical precedent that they have been ignored and there's no like military ramifications, that it is just like a suggestion committee. As odd as it sounds, I like that because it means that it's not there to try and govern everyone. It's there to make suggestions on how best to govern people. So you can go another way and not have lots of bad stuff happen. However, I don't agree with the way it's gone down. The problem we now hit is the fact that it's been there for so long and the people involved are not just Israeli imperialists. They're not there to just take land. They are just normal people living day-to-day lives. They've lived there their entire lives. Their families have lived there for decades, for generations. It's no longer a case of does it deserve to exist? It's there. This is the situation we have now. We can't look to 100 years ago and say, well, 100 years ago we told you to stop, so now we're going to transplant you. I'm sorry. It's a problem now. The fact that Israel is in the state that it's in is the problem, not Israel is the problem. Yes. Anyway, let's move on. What else we have? Things about Brexit. Yeah, some gentleman called Anwar Ullah Shah says, sorry, admin, I want to leave this group because there are too many haters and hatred posts. No one is trying to promote peace. Few are. So, yeah, we've got lots of people saying... people saying, who fucking Ray? Someone saying, Luton Town supporters. What does that have to do with anything? Someone saying, speak English in here or fuck off. and he's not put a decent. He's not put space between the comma and or. And then he's got a comma, and then seriously, it's damn rude. It's without an apostrophe in Britain. Right, I'm sorry, but it's going to amuse me to correct this person. Oh, asterisk, paste, here. Oh, fuck off. Seriously, comma, it's apostrophe, am rude in a British group to rudely chatter on in gibberish only you understand. It feels wrong. Seriously, it's damn rude in a British group to rudely chatter on in gibberish only you understand. The OP's mistakes and yours, you were both understood. I don't swear at these people. Who the fuck are you? Oh, I want to punch these guys in the face. So I said, leave. Someone saying to this net guy, what were you trying to say? There's a lady in particular who I think she's deleted her comment because we're getting close. There's a lady who said things that I've only heard in very hyperbolic statements. Right. I think it's gone. Jeez, yeah, it's been taken down. She's removed it. Okay. There was a comment that a lady put that was saying that because this person didn't seem British enough for her, that he should F off back to Pakistan, because there's nothing to suggest that he is from there. So how can he return somewhere that he may not even be from? Let's have a quick nosy and see what information we can quickly glean from the guy's profile. He actually lives presently in Pakistan, and so going back to Pakistan will do him no good because he's already there. So, okay, she may have looked it up, but still, she was being rude, she was being aggressive, and I responded to her comment, which is probably why it's been deleted now. I can barely recall the details of it, I'm sorry to say. This is just really rough, seeing this sort of thing, seeing this actually exist. There's a group called British Politics with loads of people with an admin team and a moderator team that don't seem to be upholding the rules as they've set out. The rules seem to be just ignored by a wide majority. So even if all the admins and moderators are not here, they haven't upheld the rules in the past enough that people who I can see quite clearly are posting a lot on this group, and so have been part of this group, they don't respect the rules of the group. They're not being enforced. And that the moderators are duplicated. We've got 4 Kate Kitchingmans. We've got 3 profiles belonging to one person called either Z Maddox or Madison Monroe. because Madison Monroe and Z Maddox have the same profile picture, and then the other Z Maddox has a different profile picture, but it's also from Manchester, the same as the other Z Maddox. And in fact, the image she's using as profile picture is one of the profile pictures that the other Z Maddox has in her history of profile pictures. There's 2 Leon wins. It's just a mess. And there's this UK flag symbol, which I am struggling to convince myself that it isn't like a UKIP or EDL thing. The UK has never been like a patriotic country. Patriotism is a weird thing. Royalist is what the UK has been historically. People have been willing to fight and die for king and the country that the king reigns over. So king and country, the empire, but not the country. Like the culture of the people has been in such flux that it's not been a thing to fight for. It just changes all the time. Now people seem to think that it's a thing that we've got to fight for English pride, for British pride. What? Like, this really confuses me. So, further response to this person saying that yes, it's important, the language. This Kevin guy says, I am not bigoted, I am possessive. And by the way, are you enemies or enemies? Allies or allies? Bullies or bullies? Or do you just have to find fault rather than face the facts? Bullies are also bad people. And allies are potentially good people. Or switching between possessive and plural. So this person doesn't know how the English language works, is what I'm getting from this. This British politics group is horrifying to me. But I'd like to go back to this thing. So hate speech is insulting groups for making generalizations, but they're all about free speech. So you're allowed to say anything, and all points of view need to be respected, and I get that. But how to marry that up with no hate speech? Okay, so that would be saying that I think that immigration is a bad idea. I don't, I'm just saying. For example, I think that immigration is a bad idea. I dislike the fact that mass immigration is occurring. I think it's very detrimental to the population, the indigenous population. And because of that, I feel ambivalent towards or hostile towards people who I think match my ideal description of an immigrant. To which any response should be reasoned and measured. Going as far as to then slander these people by saying that they are less than human, that you have no regard for them as human beings, that you will just insult them and suggest that they fuck off back home, that's where it starts getting into hate speech. So it's fine for you to have your political idea. It's fine for you to think the way that you think, to a certain degree. But I am here to tell you that you're thinking wrong. No, I am here to say that you are not matching up. You're not being consistent. You're not matching up to the rules that you've agreed to. The rules say no hate speech. You're not playing along with the rules. British politics group. So yeah, you've been called out by me. That's gonna get quaking in their boots. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna end this now. But thank you for watching when you end up watching this. And got a viewer. Who are you? In fact, that's a good point. Let's quickly skip over to here and skip over to here. Let's do that and see. Oh, is there a chat? Is there a chat? Let's see if someone's in the chat. Say hello. There. I don't know who's in the chat, but I'm gonna go away now. Anyway, I'm gonna go and do something. But yeah, British Politics Facebook group. It's got 80,000 people. It's weird. So when I finish this and it's finished processing, anyone who's watching this in the future, yeah, check out the British Politics Facebook group. The moderator thing is a bit weird. I'm going to be contacting the admins and the moderators to see if I can get to the bottom of this and see if there's any way to salvage this group. If not, I don't know what would be the best thing to do. Would the best thing to do be to leave the group and just allow the hate to fester? Or should I keep getting involved and try not to aggravate the group and get on everyone's wrong side, but just see if I can inject the odd bit of reason here and there? What's the best thing for me to do? I have no idea. So for the time being, I'm going to abstain from action and just occasionally comment here and there to correct things and be a bit of a pain in the ass because it will amuse me. However, I would very much like a more productive thing to do with this. Anyway, that's it. I'm currently trying to upload loads of stuff, so I'm going to get off the air and do that. So I shall see you all later, I suppose. Goodbye.